Welcome to my channel. My name is Caitlin, and today we're going to be talking about some of the habits that I like to do to maintain a healthy but balanced lifestyle. Obviously this is just what works best for me, so take what you want and leave the rest. So this video is split into 5 categories. First we have mental health, then physical health, self-care, social, and lastly growth habits. Okay, let's start off with the mental health category, and I know that you guys have heard this 1,000 times, but you've heard it 1,000 times because it works, and it's journaling. So there are a few ways that you can do this. Sometimes I like to do prompt journaling, so I'll ask, honestly, ChatGPT. I'll ask ChatGPT for a prompt and then write about it. Another way that you can do it, and this is really good for if you have a lot going on or if you have something that's top of your mind, is to just start writing. This is really good for just recognizing your feelings and recognizing, even if you feel like there's nothing top of your mind, nothing crazy to write about, as soon as you start writing, things will come up. Next, for the mental health category, we have therapy. This one kind of links back into the journaling one, but this is so good for understanding the problems that you have that you might not realize were even there or even that big of a deal. They ask all the right questions, and I just feel like it's a good use of money. I know that it can be quite pricey, which is why I'm going to put the app that I first used when I couldn't afford to get proper therapy. I'm going to put it somewhere here. Basically what it is it's obviously not by licensed therapists. It's you just write out whatever you're feeling. It's anonymous and other people can basically talk you through it. It's, I think, a really good free alternative. So it'll also be in the description if you want to check it out. Next in this category we have digital detox. I personally love this one. I feel like a lot of us don't actually realize how much of our time social media or just our phones in general is taking up in our lives, and I didn't fully realize it until I decided to do a social media detox, and then I just had so much time to do other things, different hobbies, hang out with people, work towards my goals. It was great. So if you're feeling like maybe you're just overly stressed recently or you're going through a lot of things, digital detox, it's so worth it and it's so good for you. And every time I do it, I just feel refreshed. I just feel like I've had a lot more time to do what I want to do and work on myself when I don't have the distraction of a phone. And now lastly in this category we have daily affirmations. Some people do like to write their own, so they're more catered to their goals and their lifestyle, which makes a lot of sense. Me personally, I just like when I wake up in the morning, I like to go on YouTube and just search for whatever I'm feeling that day, rich girl affirmations, study affirmations, I don't know, whatever it might be, and just play those as I'm waking up. They're usually 10 to 15 minutes long, 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, just to listen to some positive reinforcements, and over a period of time it's really good for rewiring your brain to think in a more positive way. Now we're on to the second category, which is physical health habits. And the first one is pretty obvious: exercise. It really does not matter what you do, how much you do, as long as you're doing something. Even if it's you just walk to your classes every day. For me personally, it's about a 10-minute walk to my classes, and then I've just got 20 minutes exercise in just to go to class. It can be something more intense, like going to the gym. Obviously, I know it can be scary, but if you are interested or if you like the gym, do it more often. Set a routine. Pilates is one of my personal favorites, reformer Pilates. This one is expensive and two is very hard for me personally, but I think it's really good. It's a really fun thing to do. I still do it maybe like once every few months, and then whatever other exercise I'm doing is just walking, going to the gym. Another one that a lot of people like is yoga. I personally feel like this is too sort of slow for me, but The point is basically just find something that you like to do, find something that you think you would be interested in, and just do it. Just start. It's a really good habit to start. Lastly, for this category, we have meal prep. I personally am kind of slacking a little bit in this department recently, but it doesn't even need to be. So obviously the meal prep that you think of is like you cook all of your meals at the start of the week or the whenever it is, whenever you meal prep, and then you have them all ready. It's not even just that, even sort of creating a list in your mind of I'm gonna have chicken this night, steak this night, fish this night. You don't have to specifically meal prep and spend heaps of time making your meals for the next week. You just need to have some kind of idea of what you're going to be eating for the rest of the week. Another thing also is, like, for me personally, I think that breakfast is really important. And so if I have an early day, I will spend the night before and I'll make oats, milk, chia seeds, and then all I have to do is wake up in the morning, cook it, and then I'm ready to go. That's a really underrated way to do self-care because you're making sure that you eat, you're making it as easy as possible to still eat something. Onto our third category, we have self-care habits. Firstly, in this category, we have skincare and hair care. I love this one. I don't do anything too intense for my skincare or hair care, but my routine is basically, for my skincare, cleanser, toner, moisturizer. I love Rhode. I'm gonna die on that hill. I have the box just up there as well. For special occasions, I use it quite a lot. It is quite a lot of money to get it to New Zealand because it's not here yet. When it gets to Sephora, they're getting all my money. But if you have access to and can afford Rhode, do it because it does wonders. And then every sort of 1 or 2 weeks, I like to do a face mask. This is just for when I feel like my skin is really dry or I just want to do a little self-care night. Next, we have hair care. Again, I don't do anything too crazy. I personally just like to do hair oiling. Almond oil is the one that I found that works best for me. I do that, or I aim to do it maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And then hair oil for your ends as well. My personal favorites are the coconut OGX, the I really can't say this word, Schwarzkopf 6 Miracles Essence, and the Olaplex number 7. Those are the ones that work best on my hair. And then as well as that, for hair care, I occasionally will do a hair mask. I know that people say you need to get regular trims, but I think if you're oiling your ends, it's not as important. I personally get my hair trimmed maybe like twice a year. But yeah, that's what I like to do for skincare and hair care. Next up, we have an everything routine and a reset routine. This might be one of my favorite habits from this video. I personally love everything sort of physical self-care, you know, hair care, skincare, body care, lotions, all that good stuff. And so I paired these together because I feel like this is just like the perfect day for me, is to do my reset routine and then to do my everything shower, and then everything's just reset and clean and good to go. Personally, for my reset routine, I just wash my sheets, clean up my desk. It is a little bit messy right now. Clean the kitchen and the bathroom, just do like a deep clean of everything. And then for my everything routine, I have perfected this, guys. If you would like a video on that, I'm totally happy to do that. But my everything routine is, you know, dry brushing, hair oiling, hair mask, exfoliating, all the body wash. It's just such a calming thing to do. So the last habit for this category is not as physically self-care related, but it is hobbies. This one is a really good self-care habit for your soul. So I personally am more of sort of a creative person, so I like to do, you know, dancing, painting, singing, drawing, sewing, anything fashion, all of that good stuff. And I find that I'm a lot more happy, I'm a lot more sort of energized when I'm doing these things as opposed to, you know, sitting and scrolling on my phone all day. Basically, find something that you love to do. Find something that you're passionate about. It doesn't even need to be anything too crazy. Like, I like to play cards. That's super cheap. How much is a pack of cards, you know? I like to do that. You can play it by yourself. You don't need to go on your phone to do it. Another one also that I didn't realize that I would like, but is quite fun, is, I don't even know what it's called, like diamond painting. You basically get like a picture and then you put the diamonds on it. It's like paint by numbers except with diamonds. Got that from Kmart. It was like $5. So it doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Also, if there's something that you've been wanting to try and you think that you could potentially enjoy it, just do it. I've been wanting to do pottery for quite a while. I feel like that would be really fun. I also just think that that makes you so much cooler. If you have hobbies, you're so cool. I don't care. If you're spending your time on something that you love, something that you're passionate about, rather than, you know, spending all of your time at work or all of your time studying, all of your time on your phone, and you're doing hobbies instead, you're so cool. Okay, we have social health. Now the first one is to spend time with your loved ones. Pretty straightforward. I personally have Mondays and Fridays off of university, so on those days I try and make plans with some of my friends. I go, hey, I have a spare 2 hours, do you want to go grab a matcha? See, like, it doesn't even need to be crazy. If you're like me and you like hanging out with people but you also like to be alone, you don't like to spend a lot of time with them, find friends that understand that and are happy to spend just an hour together, you know, happy to spend just a little bit of time together. It doesn't need to be too crazy. The next habit for this category kind of contradicts with what I just said a little bit, but don't overschedule. I like to pick 2 days out of the week where I don't meet anyone. I don't see any of my friends or family or anything. For me, that is the weekend. So Saturdays and Sundays are just for me. That is time that I spend doing, you know, my hobbies, my goals, recording for YouTube, just time that I can spend doing what I like to do so that I have time to recharge. You don't want to spend every day of your week at uni and hanging out with your friends. You want to have some time to yourself. So pick your days where you just prioritize yourself and you just chill a little bit, you know, where you can kind of go with the flow and see what happens days, and keep those days for yourself. The rest of those days, like I said, 3 days at uni, 2 days off of uni, but I still like to socialize. So 5 days sort of grinding, doing the hard work. Then on Saturdays and Sundays is for my personal goals, for my hobbies, just things that I want to do. Another thing that you can do on the days that you choose to spend with yourself is to take yourself on a date. If you want to go somewhere, you don't need a man to do it, just take yourself there. If there's something that you've been wanting to do, a new cafe you wanted to try, a new restaurant, you know, if you wanted to go to the museum, I don't know, just go. Just spend your days doing that. Now we're up to possibly my favorite category of this whole video, which is growth habits. This is basically the ones where you just kind of do what you have to do for yourself and for your goals. Firstly, I'm reading, and I bought some of the books that I love and I would recommend to you guys. So the first one we have is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm actually in the middle of rereading this, but this one is obviously what it sounds like. It's a financial literacy book. So it's actually the first sort of financial book that I ever read. But if you haven't read it, basically what it is the limiting beliefs, limited mindset from the poor dad and the sort of abundant mindset from the rich dad. And yeah, it's a really good book. It's quite cheap as well, $20, which is pretty good for a book, so highly recommend. Next we have Attached. This one is more about love. That's why it's As someone who loves love, I really, really enjoyed reading this book because it's sort of about the type of person that you are in a relationship, the type of love that you give, and also the type of love that you need to receive from other people. Are you anxious, avoidant, or secure? How the science of adult attachment can help you find and keep love. If a healthy long-term relationship is something that you want to work towards, this is a really, really good book to read. This one, I only recently finished this and I loved it. Really, really good. The Courage to Be Disliked. And it's basically what it sounds like. It's do what you want with your life and who cares if people don't agree with you. You know, the courage to be disliked. I also am of the strong belief that if you're not disliked by anyone, you're not really doing a whole lot with your life. So this was a really, really fun book to read actually. And it also incorporates a lot of psychology in it as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, please read. Girls That Invest. This is about investing, believe it or not. I actually haven't finished reading this one yet. I'm like this far through. But so far it's been really interesting and really helpful. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. So I'm recommending it even though I haven't finished it. Because so far it has been really interesting. And lastly, Stephen, I love you, man. I love this book. She's quite a chunky one. But this one is more business related. Obviously the 33 laws of business and life is literally what it's called, but this one of the messages in this is pretty similar to the Courage to Be Disliked. One of the quotes is make people feel something either way, and it's basically do what you want and like be fine with being hated because that means that you're at least doing something. So this one, if you're interested in business specifically, this is a really, really good one to read. So those were all of the books that I like to read. Obviously, they're all quite self-care, sort of self-love related, but even just reading something like, even just reading fictional, even just reading romance books or, I don't know, horror is really good for your mind, for your cognitive function. Also, it's just a fun thing to do, to sort of put yourself into another world through a book is just a really fun thing to do. So, listening to podcasts. I personally love to do this on the treadmills at the gym. So, instead of putting my playlist on, I'll listen to a podcast. It sort of does a similar thing as affirmations. It's just less sort of repetitive and straightforward. Some of my personal favorites are Self-Obsessed by Tam Core, Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett, A Better You by Fernanda Ramirez, and lastly, Make It Happen by, I've forgotten her name, but I'll put it somewhere. So Make It Happen and Diary of a CEO are sort of more business related, and then A Better You and Self-Obsessed are more sort of personal self-care related. Those are really fun to listen to when I feel like I don't want to listen to my music, or I feel like I need extra motivation, or I just want to feel like baddie vibes. Just put on a podcast. It works every time. Okay, this habit is pretty broad, but it's self-reflection. This one I believe in so strongly. I think it's one of the best things that you can do for your mental health, and it's really, really good for helping you grow. Every single thing that happens in your life. Everything that happens in your life, especially things that you keep thinking about or sort of keep happening, you see like a pattern, just think about it from the point of what could I have done better. When you start taking some responsibility for what happens in your life and you start realizing that a lot of the stuff that happens is actually in your control. Sorry if you didn't want to hear it, but once you realize that and you start acting like it, you can grow so much. Keep asking yourself what you could have done better, what you think you did well as well, self-praise. Just reflect on everything that happens. If you do this and you feel like you didn't do anything wrong and you feel like there's genuinely nothing better that you could have done, then that's fine. But if you're not asking yourself the question, that is where the problem is. The last habit for this category and for this video is setting goals. So this one doesn't have to be anything too crazy. You can start off small, like stop drinking 4 coffees a day and start drinking 1 instead, or attend all my lectures this week. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy, but it can be. It can be become a millionaire, become a musician, start a YouTube channel. A good way to set your goals is to think about who you want to be. Pick a period, pick a time, and say over the next year, by the end of the next year, I want to be rich. I want to be an influencer with 10,000 followers, and think about the sort of goals that lead up to that. So for example, let's take the one I just used. You want to be a social media influencer with 10,000 followers. Okay, so to do that, you have to start posting consistently. So your goal for now would be post 3 times a week. Post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then you have a goal that is achievable, but it leads to your bigger goals. Small and achievable goals are good goals to start off with, but don't let anyone ever tell you that you cannot dream big. If it's in your mind, it's achievable. If you're thinking about it, you can do it. As long as you have the dream, the dedication, the passion, and just your full belief in this goal or in this dream, you can do it. So that brings us to the end of this video. Let me know if there's anything new that you guys learned, or if there are any habits that you guys like to do that I might not have mentioned down in the comments, and hope to see you next time. Love ya!